So females. So both artists were females. Huh?
Yeah.
You're becoming the female guy.
And she was great. She didn't do video. She was more photo based. So I was this video guy. She's like, I can't do a weekend. Can you go with Carly? In the midst of all of this, my best friend, one of my best friends, Jimmy Fisco, he was doing content stuff. He was working with Russell Dickerson. He was working with Joe Nichols. Eventually ended up with a band called Kaleo, which they're fucking awesome.
They're awesome.
Oh yeah. So
Iceland, right?
What's
From
that?
Iceland or something?
Yeah, Iceland, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So he's doing content stuff, and I was working with him on projects and just hanging out with him. So I knew about being on the road. I knew about what it entails, and I didn't know the details of like how to do it. But you know what I mean? So then once I got this offer, I hit him up. I'm like, dude, I just got an offer to go out for a weekend with an artist. I'm freaking out.
Interesting.
And he was like,
but you weren't chasing like music videos.
No.
See, that blows my mind. That's all that
as
I
things
had.
grew, you know, as I started working with more artists just in general in Nashville, then you started seeing, the bigger artists that were on tour. And then I was like, I think that would be fun. Like I could do that, you know?
Yeah.
And it like scared me. If it scares me, then I'm going after it.
Sick.
So yeah, Carly Pearce brings me out. Dude, I go on this bus. I don't even know where to put my bag. I don't know how to lift the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because no one tells me this stuff. I was asking my buddy Jimmy, and he's just like, yeah, just, you know, when you're on the bus, just hang out and just chill, man. You know, you don't have to, you have to do anything. And I was like, but man, when you really get up there, it's intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like asking these guys, they're the whole band, and I'm like, hey, where do I put my bag? Like,
Junk bunk over there.
the junk bunk, yeah. And then I walk down, I turn, I go, what's a junk bunk? You know what I mean? And then I look at the bunk, and I'm like, I'm supposed to sleep in this?
Dude, I remember real quick. You got that thought real quick?
Yeah.
I remember my first tour with Aldine. And
What year was this?
Oh God, 2012. This was with Luke Bryan.
Yeah.
And I get on the bus and I get the top bunk. I'm like, shit.
This is your very
This is
first
my
ride.
first with Jason.
Okay.
And I get the top bunk with this gnarly DVD machine right there.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
You're like,
The one that, it folds
it's
down.
so bad. Anyway, I knew why I got that bunk. You know, I was the rookie to the crew. So, you know.
Well, at first you're like, I got a TV in my bunk. Like, this is so crazy. And then you're like,
no, I need a
it's
condo.
right there. You're like, fuck this, man. Yeah, the whole touring experience, you really have to learn on your own. So I think the content world, right, where they were just bringing kids out to make content for social media, I think it was still in its early stages. I think I got lucky during this peak.
Yeah.
I knew Jeff Johnson. He's been a photographer forever, and he started dabbling into that. I got connected with him later on after the Carly Pearce thing, gig, and then I got a full-time gig offer from Low Cash, the country duo.
Sure.
I meet Jeff Johnson probably the first weekend, and I've heard of him before. You know, he works for Carrie Underwood. Everyone knows Carrie Underwood. He was working for Chris Young at the time too. We just, you know, he's so nice, and we hit it off, and he's like, here, take my number, you know, hit me up with any questions or anything. So he was my man for the past, I will say 4 years. He's been my source of like, dude, what do I do? I know I've been here, but I still don't know what to do.
Sure.
Like, how are you on stage, or what kind of content are they asking from you?
Oh, wow, you really
how much money are you making? You know what I mean?
Good, yeah.
All of those
Not enough of the content guys are talking that.
All of those little things that you can't even Google search. You can't even read a book about it because it was this new thing that was being defined.
It was.
So again, I was very fortunate to be a part of that.
Once again, I mean, even on that tour with Jason, I even remember. So that was what, 2012, 2013, maybe corresponded with you, but I remember getting calls from management asking about video or shooting a certain way for Instagram. And I'm like, what the hell is Instagram? What?
Yeah.
And this social media. And I think for me, you know, you said something about Jeff a second ago, Jeff Johnson, where he made a shift. You said that exact kind of thing. He made a shift into that world, you know. that sparked something in me because I never felt like I did. And I have to kind of maybe misdirect some of our direction because that's a big topic for me.
Yeah.
Is feeling like, did I miss the memo? Is there like everybody got a memo to say, join a team, go, get it? And I'm sitting there going, art, hold your hold your stance. Yeah, and I mean, meanwhile, I'm sitting there with my flag, like, anybody?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it still feels that way. But, you know, I have to add, I go, but I'm also noticing a shift in the business.
Yeah, I don't think, and you know, you'd have to ask Jeff himself. He would be a great candidate to bring on the show.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know if it's something that he purposely was like, oh, I'm going to make this transition. I think he was attached to these artists, and I don't know if he was like in a salary position, which basically is like, hey, we need X amount of work for you throughout the entire year, no matter what it is. I think at some point they were like, this thing's blowing up. This thing called Facebook, YouTube content. This thing's blowing up, and you know the heads of the record labels, they knew.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I do.
And
think
basically,
Jeff was
they were like,
that.
instead of your stuff that we're going to use for the billboards or for the magazines, we're gonna put that on social media.